Just because they fight for truth and justice doesn't mean they aren't willing to break some bones in the process. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 most violent superheroes. For this list, we're looking at all the costumed crime fighters and vigilantes that aren't afraid to crack skulls, cause collateral damage, and slice bad guys into itty-bitty pieces in order to save the day. And, as the title implies, we're only looking at superheroes for now, as supervillains are on a separate list. Number 10, the Incredible Hulk. Getting our list off to a smashing start is Bruce Banner's very big, very mean green fighting machine alter ego. Although the Hulk does indeed have a tendency to show a more heroic and gentle side, we can't forget that he's still a ticking time bomb that could explode at any moment. The madder he gets, the stronger he gets. Therefore, the true strength of the Hulk is immeasurable, meaning that when Banner does fully lose control, the amount of damage caused is nothing short of devastation. The Jade Giant's motto is Hulk Smash, and we're more than inclined to agree that he lives up to that rather blunt statement.
I'm sorry.
Number 9, Batman.
You're under arrest, mister! You just crippled that man!
He's young, he'll walk again. But you'll stay scared, won't you, punk?
Just because he has one rule doesn't mean he doesn't push himself as close to the edge of that rule as he possibly can. As if his intimidation technique of using fear to scare the bejesus out of his enemies wasn't already psychologically traumatizing, the Dark Knight will not hesitate to continue to lay the smackdown in order to achieve his goals. With his combination of combat training and deadly arsenal of batarangs, grappling hooks, and whatever else he has in that trusty belt, Batman embodies the night and dishes out a brutal retaliation against the criminal world, one wicked right cross at a time. A criminal did kill his parents after all, so they should expect no sympathy.
Well, a guy dresses up like a bat clearly has issues.
Number 8, Rorschach.
Never disposed of sewage with a toilet before. Obvious, really. 2-0. Your move.
Long story short, he's kind of like everything we said about Batman, except he actually will kill you. Haunted by the memories of a traumatic past and twisted by the corrupt world he sees in the present, Walter Kovacs unleashes his alter ego Rorschach upon any scumbag he can get his hands on. He actually used to play by the rules just like all of his other super friends. But the night he came face to face with the murderer of an innocent little girl, something snapped.
No! No!
Since then, Rorschach has sworn to make no compromises and take no prisoners in his crusade against evil. Dislocating limbs and causing third-degree burns are included in this package deal. Number 7, Red Hood, Jason Todd. We realize that Red Hood has committed questionable acts that blur the line between him being a violent superhero and a straight-up villain. However, keep in mind that underneath all that brooding and armor, Red Hood is actually still Jason Todd, the man who was once Batman's trusty sidekick Robin before he was presumably killed by the Joker. He does carry around a heavy deal of resentment towards Bats, and we don't really blame him, but at least he puts it to productive use.
You want to rule them by fear, but what do you do with the ones who aren't afraid? I'm doing what you won't. I'm taking them out.
In the comics, Red Hood assumes control over many of Gotham's gangs in an attempt to rid the city of crime forever, just to prove the point that he's better than Batman at his own job. Harsh, but well, it usually gets the job done.
No!
Number 6, Deadpool.
Shit. Did I leave the stove on?
It's really hard for us not to love this eccentric and hilarious merc with a mouth. With his crude and occasionally offensive wisecracks, Deadpool can have us all so entertained with his zany whirlwind of obscenities that we fail to realize the gruesome reality of what he's actually doing to his enemies.
Nobody's getting hurt.
That guy was already up there when I got here.
Using his guns, katanas, and lethal hand-to-hand combat skills, Deadpool so swiftly dismembers and decapitates his foes with pinpoint accuracy that he makes it look like an art form. Despite his violent tendency to slice up the bad guys thinner than salami, you just gotta love the sense of humor he expresses while he does so.
I've never said this, but don't swallow.
Number 5, The Mask. As entertaining as the 1994 film starring Jim Carrey was, it is easily the least faithful film adaptation of any of the characters on this list. As stated, don't be confused by the witty jokes and bright colors of the movie. The Mask in the comics is unabashedly crude, nasty, and pushes the violence to borderline disturbing levels. Upon wearing the mask, the wearer morphs into an unrelenting and freakish appearance before their mind is horribly twisted, replacing any sense of empathy with apathy. Thankfully for us, the Mask tends to direct his pent-up urges for anarchy and mayhem at the bad guys by unleashing an outlandish arsenal of mischievously graphic horseplay. Whatever works, we suppose. Number 4, Wolverine. He's the best there is at what he does, but what he does isn't very nice. Another character with a traumatic past, Wolverine's mutant healing power has granted him with an unnaturally slow aging process, watching any loved ones and friends he makes pass away as he continues to live on. Couple that with the Weapon X program wiping away his memory and endowing him with razor-sharp adamantium claws, and we feel that this tough-as-nails Canadian X-Man is more than justified in poking people's eyes out. Wolverine can be a loyal ally and friend to have around. Just trust us that if you piss him off, he'll probably show no mercy. Did we even mention his berserker rages?
Peaceful thoughts.
Number 3, Hit Girl. Don't judge a book by its cover. Just because she's smaller and younger than all of the other entries on our list, we're pretty sure they would think twice before tangling with this kid. With most of her life being dedicated to fighting crime, Hit Girl has been trained from a young age to become quite the proficient killing machine, and it definitely shows. Her battle strategies mostly revolve around shooting and stabbing first so that she won't have to ask any questions later, because, you know, everyone will be dead. The only other thing that Hit Girl possesses with more destructive power than her actual weaponry is probably her foul-mouthed vocabulary, dropping more F-bombs and other curse words as frequently as she fires bullets. Number 2, Judge Dredd.
Hot shot.
In the dystopian fictional futuristic world of Mega City 1, the streets are overflowing with sickos and psychopaths, all while robbery and drug pushing runs rampant. Too bad for them that Judge Dredd is the law, and his version of the law is pretty damn scary. Armed with his lawgiver pistol that can blast away the filth of the criminal underworld, Dredd hunts down those who do wrong to others and plays the part of judge, jury, and most importantly, executioner.
Save me a lot of paperwork if you just confess right now.
Interestingly, Dredd never removes his helmet, an intentional detail which the creators have described as symbolizing how justice shouldn't be associated with a face, but a larger idea as a whole. Dredd undoubtedly embodies this larger idea, taking down anyone who deserves what's coming to him. Before we reveal our top pick for the most violent superhero, here are a few other characters who are afraid that will beat us to a pulp if we don't mention them. Number 1, The Punisher. After watching his family brutally murdered, Frank Castle has decided to devote every moment of his existence to waging a one-man war against crime. And we must emphasize the word war strongly.
6 months, a year, for your whole life. Something tells me you don't take breaks.
The Punisher was originally going to be called the Grim Reaper in the comics, and we feel something about that initial name definitely stuck. Frank Castle has transformed himself into the living embodiment of death itself, possessed with a vendetta to obliterate anyone on the wrong side of the law. All those that do evil to others will come to know him well.
I'm just trying to make a buck.
you agree with our list? Which superheroes do you feel are the most violent? For more hard-hitting top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.